The calibration of the room is typically suggested in, I would say, 90% of the rooms. There are certain cases where a system that is totally linear might not completely satisfy our taste. For this reason, we have added this contour section that actually extends the sonic contour capabilities that you have with the switches behind the speaker, on the back panel of the speaker. For example, I may consider that this frequency response to my taste in this room, for what I'm used to, is a little bit shy on the low frequency. In that case, I will just raise the low frequencies by a notch here, 1.5 dB. I can select the frequency where this low shelving is starting, and what is mostly important is that this operation that I'm doing here is affecting a system that is neutral, that is transparent, where the room has been taken out from the equation. So I am adding this gentle lift that is not going to make the low frequencies confused or boomy. It's just slightly making it more present, exactly to match eventually the taste of the engineer. Of course, one of the mostly typical use of the contour settings is when you place the speakers in situations where the acoustical performance is somehow affected by the placement. So, in case you are not using ARC, you can manually trim the speakers, for example, by taming down a little bit the low frequency and low mid frequency build-up that happens when the speakers are placed on a large format console. And for this need, you can use the desk filter that is exactly made for this reason, so to make the low mids slightly lighter to avoid the boost that typically happens in these conditions. While the contour section is offering a lot of possibilities, it is important to know that once the system has been calibrated with ARC, very little interventions are typically needed here, if any. In addition to all of this, the X-Monitor software also allows to control these additional parameters here at the bottom. The standby timer sets the time after which the monitor goes into the power safe mode, low power mode. You can set a time between off and 2 hours. Delay is used to set an additional delay time for each speaker from 0 to 10 milliseconds. This is very useful when it is physically not possible, for example in an immersive setup, to place the speakers in the room exactly where they should be. And for example, if you have one speaker that has to be closer than the other, then you can artificially delay it by a certain amount to perfectly time align to the others in the system. By default, all the settings that are applied to one speaker are also reflected to the other one. In case it is needed to set one speaker differently from the other one, for example with different contour settings, we just need to unlink the speakers by clicking this button. This way, we can, for example, have a setting like this on one speaker and have a totally different setting on the other one.